Okay, I didn't want to hurry this explanation. This is like the last page here. Just because it's a little bit weird if you when you're first looking at it. It just takes making sure you're wrapping your head around it. So this is, I wrote this across the top. You can write this across the top of yours. This is about the relationship between the sides and the opposite angles in a triangle. So basically, let me just show you what I'm talking about. Let's say I make a triangle. Okay, and I'm going to make a triangle from these two pencils and this pen. All right. Well, actually, let me just make a triangle from the two pencils. Can't really see it that well. How about these two pencils? Okay, this is my triangle. If my triangle, if these two have an angle between them that's this size right here, here's the angle. This right in here is the angle. Then the side across from that would have to be this long. But if I make that angle bigger, this angle between the two pencils, like this, like right now it looks like about a right angle. Now the side between the two ends has to be this long, much longer. And if I make the angle even bigger, now the side, the third side of the triangle, would have to be this long for it to meet. So basically, the bigger the angle is between these two pencils, my two sides, any two sides of my triangle, the bigger the side across from it has to be. So if I have a really big angle here, then I have to have a really big side. If I have a really tiny angle between these two pencils, then I'm going to have a tiny side over here. So that's what this is saying. It says in every triangle, the biggest angle is opposite the biggest side, and the smallest angle is opposite the smallest side. So in triangle ABC, notice that the side lengths are given so I can tell which is the biggest, which is the smallest, etc. BC is the smallest because it's 3, AC is the middle because it's 5, and AB is the largest. So since angle A is opposite BC, in other words, here's side BC, the angle that would be opposite from that is the angle that doesn't touch BC at all. It's on the other side of the triangle. So opposite means across the opposite side of the triangle. Okay, so angles and sides are opposite each other. You don't have a side across from a side. You have an angle across from a side. And the side is across from an angle. So since angle A is across from the smallest side, that makes angle A the smallest angle. That's what this is saying. Since angle B is across from the medium side, so B doesn't touch AC at all. Notice the letters A and C don't include the letter B. So angle B, right here, does not touch this side labeled 5, so it's across from it. So it's sort of matched with that. That's the middle side, so this is the middle-sized angle. And if you look at the largest side, which in this case is AB, it's across from which angle? Well, not this one and not this one. The angle that doesn't touch AB would be over here across on the other side of the triangle. And that's angle C. So angle C has to be the biggest angle because it's across from the biggest side. All right? So for instance, on triangle TVW at the right, I'm sorry, I keep kind of angling it. Name each of the following. Well, first thing I have to figure out is what is the smallest side. Here's the smallest side. And what is the biggest side? Here's the biggest side. So if I want the smallest angle, I look at the smallest side. It goes from W to V. So my smallest angle is not going to be W, and it's not going to be the V. It's going to be the angle across from that, which is angle T. Then let's do the biggest. The biggest side here goes between W and T. So neither one of those letters tells me where the vertex of the angle is. It has to be across from that over here at V. So the biggest side is across from the biggest angle, which has to be angle V. And the only angle I haven't mentioned is the middle one. So that's W. Okay, looking at this triangle. This time they're giving me angles, so they're going to ask me about sides. You're always asked about the opposite thing. In other words, if they give me the information about the sides, then they'll ask me to tell about the angles. If they give me the information about the angles, then they'll ask me to tell about the sides. So on triangle MNP, name each of the following: shortest side, middle side, longest side. So the first thing I have to do is figure out where the smallest angle is. Here's the smallest angle. Okay, so that's this angle made from these two sides. So the side opposite it or across from it would be the side that doesn't help make the angle. This one over here. All the way across the triangle, this side right here is opposite from 47. So this has to be the shortest side. So MP is the shortest side because it's across from the 47-degree angle, which is the shortest angle or smallest angle. Now, which is the biggest angle here? The biggest angle here is the 70. Okay, so looking at the 70, let me use a different color. That's made up of these two sides. Okay, so the side across from the 70 is not going to be MN or MP because the 70 is made up of those two sides. It's going to be this one over here, NP. So if 70 is the biggest angle, go across the triangle to the opposite side, and that's the biggest side. So NP. And the middle side is the one I haven't named. Let's see, I've named MP and NP. I haven't named MN. So MN is the middle side. Okay, just another couple quick examples on that. If I have, let's say I have this triangle right here. I'm going to call it A, B, C. Okay, this means a 90-degree angle. So I have 42 here, 48 here, 90 here. So think about which would be the smallest side. It has to be across from the smallest angle. And which would be the largest side. It has to be across from the largest angle. Pause the video if you need to. Okay, the smallest side is going to be across from this angle. So it's BC. So this is the smallest side. So the smallest side is BC, or shortest side. The biggest angle is the 90. So going across from the 90, the biggest side has to be the AC. This is, by the way, why a hypotenuse is always the biggest side in a right triangle, because it's across from the biggest angle. And that means that the middle one would be, let's see, BC, AC, that would be AB. Okay, let's look at another one similar to that. This time, instead of giving you the angles and asking you about the sides, let's say that you're given the sides and asked about the angles. Okay, and I didn't really mean to make it a right triangle, but I did, so there it is. So let's say it's QRS. Well, the biggest side is the QS. So that's across from R. Notice that R is not part of the name QS. So angle R has to be the biggest. The smallest side is QR. Which letter is not in QR? That's S. So this angle, angle S, has to be the smallest angle because it's across from the shortest or smallest side. And the middle side is RS. That's across from angle Q. So that's the medium one. And that's all there is to this.